Hello, and welcome back to Warped, the completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast where we provide live audio commentary tracks to Star Trek The Next Generation episodes. My name is Matt.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Aaron.
Minh.
And my mate.
And we are watching Season 3, Episode 2. We had a good time last week, didn't we, everybody?
Yeah, it was great.
Wasn't it nice to see the gang
All back together.
all back together again?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed last week. But Sean, you told me this week's is better.
I think this is a better episode.
Okay.
This is a really good episode.
Everybody
this is actually one of the episodes like I really remembered well from when I watched it before.
When we play the IMDb game in a couple of minutes, everyone remember, Sean just said he thinks this is a good one.
This is a Blue's Clue.
Yep.
Well, Sean isn't necessarily the IMDb rating.
No, and the IMDb is usually not always what we all agree on. You know, we're iconoclasts, you guys. We chart our own path.
That's right.
Wow.
We're not a bunch of
We make our own decisions about how we feel about Star Trek.
Fuck you, IMDb. Who cares?
That's right.
It's our
Never been called an iconoclast before. That's
Oh, yes, you have, man.
That's not true. Yeah, there's no way.
When has someone ever said you are an iconoclast?
Have had
the most iconoclastic person
being an iconoclast.
Sure.
It may not have been done in front of you, but
you're an iconoblast. It's what you are, man.
Iconoblasted.
Yeah, you're an iconoblast. That's a really fun iconoclast, is an iconoblast. Anyway, Sean, what's going on?
Season 3, episode Dose. The Innocence of Command. And I got 45 minutes and 48 seconds on the clock, and I'm punching the triangle in 3, 2, 1, punch.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There she is.
What a fucking sweet-looking ship.
Gratuitous.
Oh, that's right. We got some string quartet action early on.
Sure.
This whole sequence reeks of my friend asked me to come see his band.
Okay. So first of all, we learned that Miles plays the upright bass or the cello.
Yeah, right. Uh-oh, Data.
Data playing some violin.
And there's there's a Vulcan on the group.
Data looks nervous to perform.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want to perform in front of.
Well, he doesn't feel nervousness, but he
feels like it would be better for them to go to a different concert when he's not playing because he's not as good.
I was gonna ask that. Like, I bet he's good at hitting the notes, but there's
he ain't no Yo-Yo Ma.
That's the whole argument of that part of the episode is how does he have soul? Does he be able to play music? To understand the nuance of art music.
I like it when Picard blows his cheeks out oh, fuck. Is this what I'm talking about right now?
I gotta go through this with this guy again.
Haven't we had this conversation 30 times and we'll continue to have it for the rest of our lives?
But we know that Data is fully functional and Tasha Yar was pretty happy, so he's got it where it's needed. Also, I'm a little.
Do you know that she was happy? I don't know that we know that.
Maybe
she might have been like that was fine, right?
Maybe. I mean, she did say it never happened, which doesn't really a ringing endorsement.
Well, yeah, that's true. We are both going to pretend this never happened. It's usually not something you want to hear, right?
That's not tops on my list of things I've heard from a lady in bed.
It's not a good sign.
No.
I think it was established based on her body language that Data was good at establishing a rhythm and sticking to that rhythm.
Neither of us were ever here.
No.
Wow.
You know what? I've got to go back and watch that because that's not how I remember.
But maybe, we got
That's not how you remember it.
It's in there. It's in there.
I'll tell you exactly what he says. He says, "I am fully functional and trained in multiple, not trained, but like versed in multiple techniques or something like that. So, but that's just like an elaborate vibrator is what he's describing.
But, people get off on vibrators.
Yeah, but you don't fall in love with your vibrator.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you can have a conversation with Data, though.
That's true.
That's more than a vibrator.
He probably would, pillow talk afterwards. Probably couldn't get him to shut up. He'd be so impressed
I'm not saying Data is a bad lover, you guys. I'm saying that this episode is about him like worrying that he can't play music well.
Yes.
Because he can hit the notes, but he doesn't feel the music.
Yeah.
I've got to do some research. I've got to do some reading on fan fiction on different interpretations of Data's sexuality.
Oh, well.
Like people see him as being really robotic or...
Yeah, welcome to that rabbit hole.
Go ahead.
I don't think you really want to do that.
Hey.
So we're at the
there's
intro.
a lot,
Oh, yeah.
They've been writing fanfic for 30 years about this subject.
Yeah.
You could read for the rest of your life, man, and never get to the end of that particular subject.
Well, I'll try and come back with some choice quotes for next episode.
Right.
Then.
Okay, do that. Sean's Sean's chomping at the bit because we're in the credits.
Don't do it now. It doesn't get done.
We're not letting him do his bit. Go ahead, Sean.
The Ensigns of Command. Season 3, Episode 2, September 30th, 1989. After 111 years of silence, an extremely litigious alien race asserts its agreed-upon right to wipe out a Federation colony in its territory. Aaron didn't watch this episode.
Right.
What do you think the IMDb rating is?
Correct.
Aaron
wow, apparently it's better than the last one. The last one was a 6.6, so I'm going to say 6.9.
6.9.
What?
Really?
Oh my God, 69.
That's what we get for all the Data sex talk.
No, that's not the. I'm sorry. That's not the answer. If you thought that, I was
just celebrating.
I was just celebrating that someone said 6.9.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought I nailed it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you did indeed.
7.7.
7.
Oh no, 7.7.
No.
7.2.
Min?
6.5.
7.5.
See?
Yeah.
Wow, jeez.
I think it's a good episode.
Okay.
Do you remember this episode, Matt?
I do not.
Okay.
What I'm noticing is that I see what you mean now about the uniforms because they have those weird like seams down.
Yes.
And they get rid of those after a while.
That's the big difference.
Yeah.
Why does Riker look like he, didn't put on enough lotion, like suntan lotion, sunscreen? He's kind of like, he's really ruddy.
I do not remember this episode. There, he just did it. Are we drinking for the drink? He just did it.
Drink.
Did the
It
shirt
was so
tuck?
subtle.
Mm-hmm.
The tug.
He does it a
Shirt
lot.
tug. Oh yeah,
Now-
we're gonna get hammered now.
Yeah.
He does it.
He does
10
it
times an episode.
5 or 6 times an episode for sure. I don't remember this episode. So I don't know. I have nothing to contribute on that.
So basically, Data they find this alien race that the Federation has a treaty with wants to colonize a planet that they found has people on it, and it's not supposed to have people on it. But there's this. They thought maybe it would be like 20 odd people, we could just get rid of them. But when they get there, there's actually this huge civilization of 15,000 people that are living on this planet that is supposed to be uninhabitable by humans.
Because they crash landed and they've lived there.
Right, but they figured out how to survive, and they've created this. It's like been there for generations now.
Yeah. Okay.
And Data's got to convince them to leave, or they're just going to get wiped out by this alien planet.
That has its own like claim to this.
Yeah, they do. They had signed a treaty. It was a treaty that they had signed with the Federation. That there's the Federation knows that they don't have any right to. They have to get them off this planet, or they have the right to kill them all.
Okay. So Riker just said they left 92 years ago.
Yeah.
And they've landed on this planet. Does anybody know how much genetic diversity do you need to like repopulate a species?
You
you know what I mean? Like if you had to start, you think a few dozen is enough? Because then you'd all be related to each other.
Right? Well, if you're all, yeah. I mean, you're not related to each other when you start.
There's some kind of number.
Our God, Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started with 2, Adam and Eve, didn't we?
Sure.
So we're all basic.
Except for the other people that sort of showed up at times.
I'll have to do a corrections corner on this because I know there's an answer.
There's got to be an answer.
Yeah. Well, my answer is a few dozen.
I can remember reading an article.
However many were on this planet.
That's right.
Let's start counting.
We should venture our guesses. I guessed a few dozen.
So,
I mean, they've only been there 92 years.
Yeah.
That's and they've built a lot of.
They've built quite a society there.
It's a whole society for only 92 years.
Yep.
They did a lot of fucking.
So,
I mean, what else are you going to do?
This actor here, the leader guy in the gray tunic thing, the actor, apparently this official story that's on like the Paramount books is that he was super unhappy with his performance and wanted to take his name off of the show. So he's not credited.
Okay.
They completely did his entire dialogue with ADR with another actor.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's
the
their
main
official...
colonist guy?
Yeah, the main colonist, Goshenev.
Oh, God.
That guy right there. And so whoever does his voice is uncredited as well.
Who's that guy? Because that's the guy I recognize. The guy.
The other guy. But now there's like a conspiracy theory about it. People think that like something happened and Paramount is trying to cover up what happened.
Yes.
Because there's like a whole conspiracy theory about why this guy did all this stuff, why this is the official answer.
Okay.
What do they think he did?
It doesn't say, but there's theories that something happened and they're just trying to cover it up.
Does the voice sound different, disconcertingly
different? That doesn't
different?
make any sense at all. Like most conspiracy theories, it makes no sense at all.
I couldn't tell. So the actor you're talking about is Mark Taylor, who is in a lot of stuff.
I recognize him.
The guy in the green?
Yeah.
Something. No, the guy in the brown, I think.
He's been in a ton of shit. I'm sure there's something, I don't know. I recognize him from High School Musical 2.
No, that's not it.
I didn't think that was it.
We think
I have to say,
he's the guy who runs the country club.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's their boss. He's all the boss. He's that guy.
Trying to get Zac Efron to do something with his life. And...
Yeah. Well. You know.
Oh, who do we have here? It's a new lady.
Oh, so that actress is in my favorite episode of Quantum Leap, or one of my favorite episodes. Eileen Seeley is her name. She plays Martha Wayne in Batman Forever.
Oh, what's your favorite Quantum Leap episode?
Oh, it's not my favorite. One of my favorites. It's an episode where it's a later episode where he's like a Vietnam vet who lives out in the woods with a friend and who's super claustrophobic.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
We really do need to rewatch Quantum Leap because I don't remember. There's so much of it I don't remember.
I would love to. We should do that in our weekday podcasting.
I'm available, man. If you want to do it, I'd do it. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Even if it was just you and me, I'd do it.
Yeah. We maybe do it. Figure out a time to do it.
Do it.
So what's happening on this?
So they're just basically that guy doesn't want to leave. He's like, we'll fight.
None of them want to leave, right?
Well, some of them are starting to realize that it's either leave or die is really the options. But this guy's like, we can fight, he's convinced that like you said, in 92 years they built the society. So I think they feel like they're fairly like
capable,
powerful force that to be reckoned with. So they think they can fight.
And the problem is that these aliens that our gang has a treaty with are just sort of like uncooperative assholes. And
right.
Like, we're coming whether you want us to come or not.
And basically, this problem is like they're supposed to be there in like 3 days, but it's tactically impossible for them to evacuate the planet in 3 days. It's going to take 3 weeks because of how many people and the type of transports they need. And so he's just trying to buy time at this point in time.
He's trying to get himself.
Okay. So that guy costume is the same costume from Skin of Evil with the oil guy.
Oh.
It's that costume, but without the oil.
Without the goop.
But it's the same actor.
Wow.
Somebody's driving a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know, right? It's loud out here. It's like a rally.
I thought that was your soundboard, Matt.
It wasn't. I wish I had that sound on my soundboard.
So this is that same outfit. It looks.
It's the outfit without the slime on it.
They hosed it down.
Yeah.
Wow, it doesn't look like it at all.
They took all the printer ink off of it.
Yep.
And
It
oatmeal.
doesn't look the same when it's not covered in goop, I guess.
Yeah, and Metamucil, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Ink, printer ink and Metamucil.
Mm.
Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we classify Data as a vehicle, can we technically classify her as a dragon?
Absolutely. She's 100% a dragon. She is into the robot.
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
In love.
She loves him because he's so rational. She's like, these fuckers around here, they just don't think rationally. Because she's on board from the beginning. She's like, we got to get away. If he's saying we got to go, we should listen to him.
Every Data love plot story ends exactly the same way, which is Data saying, I am not capable of love, and I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
That's how every episode ends.
Yeah. I feel like that's how my relationships also go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one where he thinks because he's trying to become more human, he starts going out on dates. He's like, I should explore the idea of having a personal life. So he goes out on dates, and this one woman who works on the ship, falls in love with him. And at the end of it, he's like, I do not feel the same way because I am not capable of feelings. And so we must break up. And that's the end of the episode. And it's just like, well, that woman's going to need to visit Dr. Troy and get some therapy. Because she just fell in love with a robot, and he broke up with her. She's going to be spending a lot of time in Troy's office.
What did they beam over?
Well,
does Troy have office hours? She must, right?
Yeah, she's got to. She's a counselor.
She does, because she says things like, oh, I have another appointment.
Yeah. Do you think she just has open office hours? She's just there. You can just pop in for a chat.
Yeah.
I usually just lurk in the
appointment
hallways
only?
trying to catch her.
I suspect that the real answer, if you really want to know what I think, is that everybody on the ship is required to see her, like,
sure,
3 times a year or something like that. So I think it's a combination of like mandatory meetings, people who need more attention, like scheduled weekly appointments with people like Barkley, and then like some open, like a couple of open hours every day for drop-ins who have some sort of mental health issue.
If you worked on the ship, wouldn't you look forward to hanging out with Troy?
That's how I would structure Troy's day, in case you all were wondering. That's how I would schedule her as a manager.
Her personal assistant.
Yeah, no, if I was her boss, I would be like, you need a couple of hours a day for open invitation. You need a couple of hours for scheduling, and then a couple hours for mandatories. That's how
That's a good manager. Mm-hmm. But yeah, wouldn't you look forward to hanging out with Troy and having therapy sessions with her?
Troy is one of the only people on this show I would want to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. I love them all.
Guinan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to hang with Guinan. I would want to get drunk with Riker. Okay, here's the game. Right. What would you do with how would you hang out with each of these people? If you were going to hang out with Riker, Jake, I'm picking a name out of a hat. What would
he's your like what do you call it when they go on shore? He's your shore leave buddy.
Yeah.
Your wingman.
Your wingman on shore leave.
That's the right answer. Okay, everybody else is over. We don't even have to do it.
Yeah.
If you're hanging out with Picard, what are you doing, Minh?
Just silly, ridiculous stuff. Reading Shakespeare. No,
reading Shakespeare, I think, is the right answer.
That's a good one.
Good.
Yeah.
I was thinking
wearing
go to a museum or something with him.
I think runner-up might be horseback riding.
Yeah, except we only see him do it that one time.
Yeah.
Like, they made it a big part of his character and then never did it again because it's expensive to hire horses and do outdoor shooting. So they just never did it again after that.
I would actually love to dress up as lobsters and just run around with Picard just taking pictures everywhere.
You want to be friends with Patrick Stewart because that's what he does with Ian McKellen. They like to go into like ball pits and like take pictures of each other. Just for fun.
Yeah. I can't imagine Picard doing that.
Yeah, but Patrick Stewart does it all the time.
Sure.
Him and Ian McKellen have built an entire second life for themselves where all they do is go around and take fun pictures of each other.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't even know about that.
Oh, you should Google Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and you will get a cornucopia of pictures of the two of them. Best friends. Yeah, they're like best friends. And they're constantly going around and just doing goofy. Like, here we are on a roller coaster. Here we are jumping into a ball pit. Here we are walking our dogs together.
Yay.
And they're just adorable photos and just, pure joy.
Two sweet old men who love each other.
The fact that they love each other makes me love each of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, even more than I already did. The fact that they're best friends just makes me go, oh, they're perfect.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
She went for it.
Yeah. Dragging her body reaction. Over Data.
Oh, he's like computing.
Right.
It's yeah. Well,
Data gets more. I was gonna say Data gets more action on accident than Geordi does when he's trying.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
People fall in love with Data all the time. No one ever falls in love with Geordi.
Oh, well, we love Geordi outside of Geordi. Or
does he fall in love with
people love
the person still alive?
Hey, May.
What?
Huh?
If you were going to spend a day with somebody on the ship, who would you pick and what would you do?
Yeah.
Your favorite character is
Pulaski.
Oh, wow.
And what would you do with her?
Wow. Bold
What I
answers.
do is Pulaski.
Picnic.
We'd probably go to Magic Mike's show in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
That actually sounds
Correct
right.
answer.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Right.
that's believable.
And then she would measure all their muscles and tell them how to increase their BMI or decrease their BMI, up their muscle content, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know she was a nutritionist as well. Yeah, for the night she can be. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I Googled Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen. About a third of these pictures are them kissing, so
Yeah.
I'm into it.
They love each other a lot.
Yeah. I was going to say, I sort of want to imagine you, Sean, and Philippe having that sort of relationship, friendship as you grow old. But then once May mentioned the photos where you guys were kissing, or they were kissing.
No, that's not happening again.
Again. Yeah.
I don't know how you kissed that man, Aaron. When I kissed him, it tasted like metal. Does he always taste like metal?
No.
No? Was that just a weird combination of the two of us?
Yeah. Bad algae.
That's when you know you're allergic to each other.
Weird.
The image that sprang to my head just now was of two magnets trying to be pushed together.
Natural.
That's why it tastes like metal.
Mm-hmm. Just a natural mutual repulsion.
When did you kiss Philippe, Sean?
At the end of The Tempest.
Oh, okay. You were forced to.
Yeah, it was an acty kiss.
It was an act.
Yeah.
It wasn't, we were drunk and decided.
No. I mean, we were drunk, but. Yeah.
We were drunk, but we were on stage.
We were on
so it
stage.
Doesn't count.
It was for a joke.
If you're on stage, it doesn't count.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that. Tasted like metal. It was weird.
He might have been a little stressed out. He might have been emitting like.
Oh, yeah.
Why would he have been stressed out?
Yeah.
Because he had to kiss you
on stage, or
it's not his natural.
Oh, okay.
I was the only one
he
that
might have been tasting some stress saliva.
I made him do it all the time.
You what his ass on stage?
Drag his ass on stage.
Yeah, it's good.
Anything that can be construed as a performance art is not Philippe's.
No, yeah. Except the podcasting, he was always really good at this shit.
Yeah. What is Warped? Isn't that a little performance arty?
It is. This is the perfect format for him.
Gotcha.
Right. Because nobody's watching.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes
you
sense.
can kind of pretend like you're just talking.
Yes.
You can kind of pretend like no one will ever hear this.
Yeah. Well,
and on this podcast, that's mostly
true. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's pretty great.
We love you, listeners who are there.
We do.
We do. We love you, listeners.
We're doing our best.
I mean, you stuck with us through 160 odd episodes, 150. Yeah. So
yeah,
we must be doing something they like.
I'm gonna bet that most people haven't listened to each and every episode, but
yeah, most people aren't Sean. Most people are gonna dip in and out when it's an episode that it's an episode of the show that they know. And they're like, oh, I'll listen to what these people have to say about Best of Both Worlds. And then they're going to be very disappointed when we don't talk about Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah, we've been talking more about the episodes since we started doing Next Generation.
Well, it's time to fix that problem, everybody.
Yeah, do it.
Let's have some corrections corner. What do you say?
Yeah.
Jacob, play the jingle.
Correction corner. Feels like it's been a long time.
It has been a long time. It's been a long time.
The episode we just released does it. There's a corrections corner in it.
I had a brief spurt of energy today, and then after that, I decided to do corrections corner.
Oh,
yeah.
These are corrections for episodes 108 and 109. Encounter at Farpoint. Episodes 1 and 2. Aaron, you'll remember Encounter at Farpoint. It is the very first episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Okay.
It's the one with Q. It's the first one.
Oh, yeah, the outfits. Right? You remember?
Yeah. There's a lot of outfit work going on in that episode. We talked about Bing Crosby because
like you do.
Tasha Yar is played by Denise Crosby, who was Bing Crosby's granddaughter. And when I told you guys that, Philippe, who was on that episode, Philippe and Aaron were both like, "Oh yeah, Bing Crosby, like he was yikes as a human being." So that made me interested because I had never heard that before. So I looked it up, and yeah, it kind of depends on who you believe. It seems like, if just going off of his Wikipedia page, the short story is his oldest son wrote a book after he died, describing him as being both physically and psychologically abusive to him and to the other kids. But some of the other kids sort of disputed that and said, no, it wasn't that bad. Like, he was just strict because he was from that generation, blah, blah. So there's a little bit of it's unclear, like, how you want to interpret.
Well, the book writer might have been an opportunist, maybe.
Well, and I thought about that
kind of thing.
I maybe thought he got the brunt of it.
That could be too. He was the oldest one, so it's possible he was the one who got it the worst.
Yeah.
But it also did make me think, like, there is something a little unfair, and I don't want to, like, say I don't believe people when they say things, but it is a little unfair to write a book about what an asshole your father was when you're after your father has died.
You can't.
And has no opportunity to try and, respond to that. Like, it's one thing to sort of say it to your friends and family and say, this is something that happened to me. And,
it also sounds like,
but it's a whole other thing to write a book, which presumably you're doing for some financial reason, right?
And in the book, is he mentioned the other kids?
I didn't read the book.
Okay.
I'm just
I was curious. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you said, the other kids were like, that's not how it was.
Well, I'm just going off the Wikipedia page.
I wonder because if he mentioned the other kids and they didn't have a hand in it, that's sort of bullshit too.
It just seems like some of the kids, there's a lot of conflicting accounts.
Sure.
Like, some of them say, yes, he spanked us, but it wasn't that bad. Some of them say, he never spanked me. Like, it's just a lot of very confusing stuff. But it seems like he was at least kind of a mean dad, if not worse than that. The other thing that's interesting about this is that he established a blind trust in which none of his children would get their inheritance, his money, until they reached the age of 65.
Oh, wow.
So he said, if you get to be 65, you can have my money. Here's the sad part of this story. 2 of the sons died, one in 89 and one in 91, age 51 and 56. Both by suicide. Both of his sons, 2 of his sons killed themselves in their 50s, including Dennis Crosby, who is Denise Crosby's dad. Like, Tasha's dad was Dennis, and he named her Denise.
Okay, that's not painting a good picture of his whole fathering skills.
Right. If 2 of your kids kill yourself in their 50s,
was one of them the one that wrote the book?
No, the one who wrote the book died at age 62 of lung cancer in 95, and the last one died in 2004 at age 69. So I guess he must be the one who got the money, because he's the only one who lived 65. Isn't that a crazy story?
That's crazy.
You can have my money, but only when you're old.
I've heard about it, like, waiting until they're adult some age, but damn, 65 is like
I know.
That's
a good retirement though.
People are like, you can have it when you're 18 or you can have it when you're 21.
Whatever.
Like 65 is pretty.
That seems like a dick move.
it feels like a dick move. Yeah.
It totally is a dick move.
No, I think what you're saying is Philippe and I are right.
I am saying that. I think that he was clearly a difficult person to grow up as a child. Whether
To what extent?
We have multiple families. Are all his children with the same partner?
No, I think he was married. He was married.
So that can inform the experience as well.
Totally. Mean stepdads. We talked about this last week on Warped. Picard's Wesley's mean stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about little people on this episode because in the flashbacks, not flashbacks, but when they're doing the trial, Q is judging them and they're in this sort of like post-apocalyptic nightmare. There are lots of people of short stature running around. Is everyone with me on this?
Yes.
Everyone,
yeah. Sounds like Sean's come true.
I remember.
And I called them, I said there's a lot of little people in this episode. And Minh said, I don't think that's the
correct
preferred nomenclature these days. He was like, I don't think that's it. So I looked it up and I'm right. It is little person or little people. Some people are okay with the word dwarf. Some people prefer person of short stature. I'm literally reading off the little person website. What is the correct terminology? The one they don't like is the one that starts with the word M.
Yeah.
That is the word that we don't use anymore. But little person, little people is okay. So I was right. Minh was right.
Well, I apologize.
Was the correction on that.
I'm happy to be corrected.
Erin said that she thinks she watched Star Trek: The Next Generation on PBS. And we said, well, it was on syndication, so that's probably not true. But Erin was very strongly believed that she remembered PBS. So I did a pretty deep dive on this. And I could not find any evidence that Star Trek: The Next Generation was ever shown on PBS.
Okay.
I think what you're imagining is one of those local channels.
Yeah.
Reruns of sitcoms all day long, that was right next to
maybe.
PBS.
There were times when we only had like 3 or 4 channels. That's why I'm like, what would it have been?
Yeah.
If it was syndicated, I guess it could have been on any of those, just maybe not PBS.
Could have been on any of them.
Okay.
But PBS wouldn't have. They didn't have the money to buy a show like Star Trek to show on their channels. So I don't think it was ever on PBS. I'm not trying to discount your memories. I'm just saying I couldn't find any actual proof of it.
Okay.
You could still be right. I would never try to tell you that you were wrong.
He's learned his lesson.
I'm just trying to think of the 4 channels that came in. Was it ever on Fox? No, right?
It might have been in your neighborhood. It might have been.
Yeah.
We talked. Does anybody want to watch the show, or should I keep going?
Yeah, no, keep going.
This is the show, man.
Yeah.
We're getting shot now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We don't have to drink for them, though.
Data's basically showing them, look, I can destroy your whole planet or with my little phaser.
So
these people are going to come.
Them.
He's basically showing them the people that are coming are just going to destroy you, and you'll never see them in their face. They're going to blast you off the planet.
Oh, what did he do?
He destroyed their aqueduct.
Because they think they can fight.
Right.
They think they can put up a fight. And he's trying to show them, you have no idea what the fuck you're dealing with. This is Q telling Picard about the Borg.
Yep.
He's saying, you have no idea what you're up against. You need to run.
Yep. So that's what happens. That's how they finally fix it. But the great moment is the way that Picard gets the other aliens to give him more time, because he uses the treaty against them. And his look of satisfaction is amazing. So when we get to that, you'll have to just stop. But you can go back to the corrections corner now.
Okay. Do you want me to?
Yes,
it's okay
I do.
if you don't.
Yes.
Like,
no, I do.
We talked about drinking tea. Picard drinks tea. Aaron asked if people still drink tea as much in the UK as they used to, given the rise of 30 years of coffee
more
culture.
Effective caffeine delivery systems. Yeah.
So I looked it up.
I think
tea
big tea
is
drinkers
still the number one drink in the UK. 75% of people in Britain drink at least 1 cup of tea per day, according to some poll. So it's still tea over coffee in Britain.
Yeah.
Coffee is very popular in Britain, but tea is still.
I'm gonna say I bet coffee is getting more and more market share, though.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's become more and more, especially as younger people, grow up drinking coffee.
But there's something about hot tea on during those rainy, wet London days.
For sure. We recently got a tea kettle. I was just like nuking it and like putting a tea bag in before, and I forgot how much better tea is if the water's like really hot. It really
Catherine's
works.
got one. It's much nicer to do that.
Yeah. I get it.
Nobody should be drinking hot water out of the microwave. Like, that's terrible. I don't know why, but it's qualitatively worse.
Look at this look on Patrick Stewart's face.
I was such an infrequent tea drinker that when my tea kettle broke, I just didn't get a new one. But now I'm back in the game.
Back in the game. Americans, I just thought this was an interesting fact. Americans drink more coffee than tea, soda, and juice combined.
Hell yeah, we do. We also drink a lot of the other stuff.
We talked about how much caffeine was in coffee versus tea. There was a little bit of a dispute about it. Because I thought that tea had more caffeine than coffee. And I was right, but I was wrong. Tea leaves have more caffeine than coffee beans, but you get more caffeine when you brew ground coffee than you do when you brew tea leaves.
Yeah.
So the dry tea leaf has more caffeine, but you don't get as much out
of it.
So the cup of coffee has more caffeine in it than the cup of tea, but the leaves and the beans are the other way around.
Interesting.
Watch this moment with Picard.
Oh yeah, the stalling tactic.
Yeah, he's stalling now because he's got them on the ropes. His just look of self-satisfaction.
Looking for dust.
Taking my time. I got you bitches by the short and curlies, and you know it. So anyways.
Why does he have them on the short and curlies?
Because he's basically there's a in the treaty they can demand arbitration, and he's demanded that this race that hibernates for 6 months do the arbitration. So then basically he's like, so either we can do that, you can wait 6 months, or you can give me the 3 weeks I need and be done with it.
So this was a legal argument.
Yep.
This is a contract interpretation.
Yep. Yep.
Jean-Luc found the
loophole. Yep.
Clause of the contract.
The rules lawyer did.
Yeah. That's
lawyer.
Good old exciting legalese subplot.
Yep.
You got to bring it around every now and then.
Remember Cogley?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you remember Cogley?
Cat named Cogley.
That's the real.
We ended up naming one of our rando cats Cogley Diana Zeus. So yeah, I definitely remember Cogley.
I can't believe you said the word Cogley. That's amazing.
That was
my favorite lawyer.
Aaron's favorite character, man.
Yeah. All his books.
I'm stunned.
Yeah. That episode was called
like,
Court
no matter
Martial,
what,
right?
She always comes up with something that'll surprise you, Matt.
We talked about the differences between androids and robots. Data's an android. He's also a robot. Androids are sort of a subset of robot. I said that androids have human parts in them, and that was wrong.
That's a cyborg.
Yes, I was getting there, Jacob. Thank you.
I jumped the gun.
Nerd test.
This is Corrections Corner. This is Corrections Corner Express.
Oh, look at him. He's trying to kiss her. Oh, man.
I can stop anytime you want, Jake. All you have to do is say it. All you have to do is say stop, and I will.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
No, don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that if anybody's kisses are going to be metally, it's going to be these.
So I think when after this happened, she went back home and like wrote in her diary, "Dear diary, I kissed an android today, and he told me he felt nothing. But then eventually, he kissed me. You know what that means? I can fix him." That bitch from Tau Signify. You're welcome.
Yep. I think so.
Yeah.
I think it would be good that he tastes metally. I think she would be into that.
She does like computers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He probably tastes plasticky.
Mm. Yeah.
Probably tastes spiny.
Spinery.
Spinery.
He is an android because he's human shaped, as opposed to robots, which are sort of like robot.
Don't have to be human shaped.
Right. Don't have to be human shaped.
Well, when you say human parts, what do you mean?
Like the Terminator in the Terminator is a cyborg because he has human flesh on the outside of his robot skeleton.
Right.
But Data doesn't have that. All of Data's parts are artificial.
Are artificial, yeah.
Right.
He's got no human parts at all.
You can pull his arm off and no blood comes out, right?
Mm.
Like he's not organic at all. So he's not a cyborg. Well, he is an android. I just had the wrong definition of android. We talked about Alf.
Of course we did.
Because Sean told us that Alf was on the same night that Encounter at Farpoint premiered on Star Trek. Philippe told us that there was a lot of behind-the-scenes trauma on Alf, which is true. There was. Apparently
ruining my childhood. Go on.
Apparently we talked about this on the show. Because of Alf, the physical presence of Alf, they had to build the sets like sort of 4 feet off the ground, so that the puppeteer could be
right.
Who was the man who invented? That's the other thing I didn't know. The guy who created Alf, he created the show too. Like
was also
he went to the network and was like, "This is me and this is Alf."
Yeah, check this shit out.
And NBC was like, "Yeah, you're a show." So he wasn't just the star and the creator. He was also kind of the mastermind behind it all. Because one of the things that we talked about on the show was that there was a lot of people didn't like him, the person who was Alf. The other actors kind of resented Alf because Alf got all the good jokes. There's a pretty famous story where the guy who played the father tried to strangle Alf, like on the set, not the human man, like the puppet,
the actual puppet.
Yeah,
I love it.
Is either crazy or maybe he was doing it as a joke and it just got like blown up into this famous story. But
it just felt too good. He couldn't stop.
I just like to believe.
Did he have a drug problem? Did we talk about that?
It just feels right that he just got so mad at Alf that he just started choking Alf.
Yeah.
And he's just grabbing a guy's wrist, like underneath the puppet. He's just like, he's just shaking it back and forth.
And now I want to imagine Alf with a drug problem.
Because it was 4 feet off the ground, there were all of these trapdoors in it so that Alf could like pop up out, wherever he needed to on the set. And apparently they didn't always like secure the trap.
People would just fall through them.
The actors would just like fall through a trap door.
Oh my god, that would be traumatizing.
The woman who played the mom said, quote, there was no joy on the set. It was a technical nightmare, extremely slow. A 30-minute show took 25 hours.
Holy shit.
For a 30-minute episode of television.
Wow, jeez.
Something's wrong.
The other thing that Philippe said was that he thought that he had heard that the man who played the father on the show had sort of an unhappy life post-Alf, had sort of drug issues. I looked into that. I did not find anything to support that. I didn't find anything that agreed with that. Really? I'm saying it's not true, but I didn't find it. It seems like he left Alf and continued to work as an actor.
He was on Friends.
And then passed away at age 75. So I couldn't find anything about him. Alf. I couldn't find anything about post-Alf like trauma. PASD.
I hope that's
I couldn't find it. Although the woman who played the daughter had bulimia during the show. I don't know if that was Alf related or not, but it's on the Wikipedia page.
Oh man.
Last but not least, we talked about Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Wow.
It's good stuff.
The reason we talked about it was because Aaron told a story about trying to fall asleep and asking Philippe to turn rain sounds on, and instead he turned "Blame It on the Rain" on.
Yeah.
Which made her very upset.
That was pissed.
We tried to remember all of their hit songs. Obviously, Blame It on the Rain. I said, Girl, You Know It's True. Sean said, Baby, Don't Forget My Number. There's one other big one. Sean, can you remember the other big one?
Was it a ballad?
Kind of, yeah. It was like
I don't remember what it's called, but I remember they had like a slowish song.
Yeah, it's called Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You.
That's it. Yeah. Now I can hear it.
Yeah, Girl. They had two songs that started with the word girl.
Yeah.
And one and one blame.
They knew how to make their money.
And here's the thing. All four of those songs were #1 hits, like all over the world.
Sure.
That album was huge. Like, they were hot shit before everybody figured it out. Like, if they had somehow managed to keep that secret, it could have they could have had a huge run.
Yep. How did that get blown? Does anybody know how that got found out? What was
I don't remember now. Like, there's got to be a story behind it.
I don't know that I've ever heard it. What the story was? I remember what had happened, but I don't remember why it happened.
I've seen the behind the music.
I think they were lip syncing and something went sideways.
Yeah. There was like a skip record or something. That did happen. Yeah.
It was like a live moment. Like people realized it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I recall that now that I remember.
That's the end of Corrections Corner, everybody.
Wow, good job.
The episode ended too. Good timing.
Yeah, that was riveting.
Wrap it up, Matt.
Thank you all very much for listening to Warped. You can rate, review, and subscribe on wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to Instagram to follow us at Warped the Podcast or buy our merch at Lunar Flare. You can email us at warpedthepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Warped Trek. You can follow me at Host Warped. You can follow Minh and learn about our Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu live streams and podcasts at Wet Maynard. Or most important of all, you can go to patreon.com/warped, become a subscriber, and get access to additional material and bonus episodes. Sean, oh wait, it's my time.
You can.
I'm done. Thank you all very much for listening. My name is Matt.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Aaron.
Midway.
Not me.
Thank you for listening and good night.
Bye.